Good afternoon, my friends. This is Paul, and today I'm joined by a special guest, my best friend Andy, otherwise known as Engineer4God, and he's going to help me with part 2 of my Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition review. So the last time I talked about the brand new epilogue, Future Connected, as well as a couple of the improvements made over the 3DS and Wii originals. So he's going to help talk about the main game. So do you want to start with the scope of exploring the world, or do you want to start with the battle system?
I guess we could start with the battle system.
Okay, so the battle system is menu-driven action RPG, as opposed to a lot of RPGs where it's sort of one or the other, either action or menu-driven. So how would you say this game caters to newbies? Like, do you think people can just jump right in and enjoy themselves, or do you think it's ridiculously complicated?
It's ridiculously complicated. I mean, when I played that game, I was like, what the heck is going on here? Like, what is this? Because it's like you can move around like in 3D, like you're moving your character, but then at the same time, you have to go into the menu to select what attack you're going to do. And like it's an auto attack. And then there's all the terms that they use, like aggro
Yeah.
and stuff like
I
that.
didn't even know what aggro meant until I played this definitive edition, because some attacks will actually ask you to be positioned a certain way. Like you might have Shulk's backslash that does more damage if you hit the enemy from behind, but you can't hit the enemy from behind if the enemy is too focused on you. So a lot of times I felt like moving my characters was kind of pointless, didn't you? Like I'd want to block an almighty attack, but it's just like, no, we can hit you from like 20 feet away.
Yeah. So in that situation, like Shulk has to use um, a move that can lower his aggro so that the enemies will attack another one of his party members. Or you can have Ryan use the ability that focuses the attention on him. So
Yeah, when we word it like that, it sounds ridiculously complicated, and we're not going to mince words. It is very hard to get a hold of. But the good news is that the simple version allows you to move your character with the left stick and then select your arts, which are basically your special moves with the control pad, instead of having magic points like other RPGs do, where you can only cast spells if you have the specific uh, things that you need. You just wait for your move to cool down after you use it. And then after your talent gauge, oh, I did that again. After your talent gauge on the upper left of the screen fills up, then you can do a chain attack, which causes the battle to freeze, and then you can do one attack after another with each of your party members. And you were saying in the previous take that sometimes you need chain attacks to defeat certain bosses.
yes, there's some bosses that are invincible unless you do a chain attack. Those are especially tough ones.
Yeah, because apparently the enemies get stupider as you do a chain attack, because they're like, duh, no, I can't block this. But if you played Smash, I think it's implied that they're supposed to be attacking faster than normal, but the Wii technology wasn't advanced enough to handle that.
Well, how it usually shows it is it's like a slow mo. It shows it in slow mo basically.
Oh, so like Final Fantasy VII Remake then.
Well, I haven't played that game, but the idea is that it looks like time is like zeroed in. Like okay, this character has to choose this move, and then the next character has to do their move to time it all together. But in real life, it would be going fast. But it's like to the player, it's like slow mo, so you can like okay, now I can really think about what moves I'm gonna use
Oh
in my
yeah,
game.
that's really appreciated because the battle's all in real time, so it's not like in Paper Mario where the enemies wait for Mario to make up his mind to do the move. They're just going to keep attacking you if you can't figure it out on time.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to them about Shulk's vision ability?
Yes.
Because that was a game changer back in 2010.
Yeah, it's like it's an ability that Shulk has to see into the future to see like what um what attack the enemy is going to use that's going to like completely destroy them. So Shulk will see a vision of like let's say like this one scary metal arm is going to like do a devastating attack on one of Shulk's allies. So then since he sees that vision, he can do like a special move. Okay, I'm gonna put like a shield on this one character so that they don't get killed.
And if you're playing as another character, because you don't have to be Shulk the entire time, you can be pretty much any member of your party. You can also ask Shulk to do an ability for them, or you can mix and match in various ways. Sometimes A couple of times I encountered an instance where the boss was about to die, like he had like one health left, and it still showed this enemy's gonna kill you, and I was like, okay, that fixed that. So it's not always 100% reliable. There are some situations where it's like you just didn't give me enough time to react. But it definitely helps if like you really stink at the genre and you just want a little bit of an escape from all the difficulty, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I suppose it. I think it does get annoying though sometimes because it keeps like,
Yeah, because the battle freezes so that you can see the animation. You can't speed it up. You can't skip it.
yeah.
And then after you break the chain to attack, the game like goes super slow as it adjusts to the new
Well,
future.
it shows that it like shatters, like the vision shatters, and it's like, okay, now this is not going to happen anymore.
It is really satisfying when that triumphant
Mhm.
music plays that says like "You changed the future" because everyone's British in that game. Because Nintendo of America was super lazy, and they just said, "Well, we'll let Nintendo of Europe do all the work, and we'll just send that version to America." Were, did you have a problem with the people constantly chattering during the battle?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, they're like the characters have the same old catchphrases that they use, and it's like, okay, roll your eyes because they've said that like so many
And they
times.
talk so loud. Like you're just trying to do a standard battle against a regular old Joe, and they're like, "Ah!" Like super loud when they do a special
And
move.
also some of those battle songs, like I don't know, like I wasn't crazy about all the battle tunes. I mean, I love the music of the game. Like the ambient music is like phenomenal. Like it's like one of the best soundtracks ever. But I don't know, like some of those battle tunes got kind of tired after a
Yeah, they
while.
kind of did. Thankfully, in the definitive edition, you have the option to fiddle with the sound settings, so you can turn off party chatter but turn on their voices in the cutscenes, for instance. Or you can turn off the music altogether, and you can mix and match really nicely. So in my file, I have it so that I never hear them chattering in battle, and that definitely makes things far less annoying. What did you? So I showed you a little bit of a glimpse of how the new, because the definitive edition allows for you to listen to arranged versions of most of the soundtrack, but you can also switch to the original version to get a little bit of a comparison of how far things have come. Would you say you preferred the arrangements or the originals after I gave you a side by side?
Definitely the arrangements, I would say.
Would do you have anything to say to the audience about like what to expect from the arrangements?
Well, I guess it's just in the original. I mean, the original music was phenomenal in and of itself, but they didn't use all real instruments, and in the arrangements they do use a lot more.
Well, they weren't able to get a full orchestra because I imagine COVID severely limited their resources and how many people could perform. But I would like to say that the soundtrack sounds much, much richer and more, I guess, authentic, organic. Would you say that that's the right word?
Yeah, I'd
Like
say
it
so.
sounds closer to a live performance.
Yeah,
So what about the when you're not in battle? What do you think? What do you have to tell the audience about the exploration? Would you consider this an open world type of experience?
yes and no. I mean, it's not like Breath of the Wild open world.
Right.
It it has definite places, so it's like you can change to go into this area, and it's like a, definitely just like a defined area, but it is very like like huge areas, like especially in Gower Plain. Like it took me forever to get through Gower Plain just
And
because
you
it's so
didn't
big.
even do the side quests in Gower Plain. I mean, like when you do the side quests, it opens up even more of the map because they don't show you all the map at once. You have to like explore it for it to appear on the map. So
Yeah,
I think I got like 50% more of the area just because I tried to get everything.
yeah. Well, I eventually explored all of Gower Plain, but I only did that because I needed to grind for experience near the end of the
Mm.
game.
Well, that's a big mistake both of us made when we played it on the original systems. Is we were saying that the game is way too grindy, and nearly everyone else that I've heard talk about Xenoblade Chronicles says, "Oh yeah, this game doesn't really require grinding at all." It's because you and I obstinately refused to do most of the side quests. But the definitive edition makes it a lot easier to do the side quests because they give you very clear indications of exactly where to go. How did they handle it in the original version? Because I'm kind of
For what?
when you had to do a side quest, like how would they handle it? Did they use an exclamation mark or did they just say, just go to the waterfall area?
Um, I think they sometimes did that. unfortunately. But I think they did have markers like, I don't know, maybe to show you where the person is who gave you the quest or whatever. But
So the Breath
um,
of the Wild approach, huh?
pretty much.
I would say that the side quests are very worth pursuing because you get experience points for completing the side quests. Plus, you get really good items. Plus, on top of all that,
That's how the side quests are also how you gain um like heart to hearts.
yeah, the heart to hearts I found were kind of they're okay. They don't beat the support conversations in the Fire Emblem series, and none of them are voice acted. The ones in Future Connected are.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they have full videos too. But for some odd reason, they thought, let's not get the whole cast together. Let's just keep the heart to hearts the way they were, because we don't need more voice acting, do we? Why can't they just go the Fire Emblem Three Houses route where everything is voiced?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are like too many heart to heart conversations pretty much to have voice acting for them.
And pretty much none of them allow you to get them right away. So basically, what heart to hearts are is they allow two specific party members to talk to each other, and that increases their affinity. And to avoid overcomplicating this already very
Oh yeah, the
complicated.
infinity thing. There's like whole like charts you can do to like assign moves and all that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can like assign other people's moves to another if you have a good enough relationship. And then you get like a whole gigantic crisscrossing chart of like how everyone relates to everyone else and like this person likes this person and my gosh, it was so exhausting looking at it. But the practical benefit is that the more affinity you have with certain party members, the easier it is to perform chain attacks and the quicker you can perform them. Sometimes you can even do 2 or 3 chain attacks per battle.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's also gemstone.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the gemstone crafting until I played this definitive edition. So you want to tell the audience what the benefit is of crafting ether gems?
Yeah. So ether gems, you get them from like various different battles, and of course, higher level gems you get further in the game, and you can take them to the crafting table. I always just use the standard one that's in Colony 9, but there's supposedly a better one you can get if you restore Colony 6.
I didn't even. Oh, that's right. The all. Yeah. So there's one particular side quest that's like a bunch of side quests melded into one, where you have to restore a colony that was like rampaged. And I heard it was a pain in the neck to do in the original version, and it's not much better here. You said you didn't even try to
I didn't even
restore.
try it, no.
I tried a little bit and then I gave up after like a couple of seconds because I was like, you're telling me that I can't mark the items that you need to restore on the map, just like every other side quest in the game? Why is this the exception? It just sounds like
Of
such
course, you are
a
rewarded with a
oversight.
new, there's like 4 different tunes of Colony 6, depending on how far you've restored it.
That is cool. Well, I guess music purists would really love that. You also have the ability to watch all of the cutscenes in a theater and adjust the clothes that the characters wear and adjust the weather. Do you kind of miss the new 3DS version that let you listen to all the songs, provided you unlocked
Well,
them?
I never had that version, so
But you liked it when I brought it over, right?
yeah, it was kind of cool.
I don't know if you can unlock it after beating the main game or not, because like I said, I have hardly scratched the surface of the definitive edition, but
Yeah.
wouldn't it be nice if you could listen to like all the tracks, both arranged and original, just in one convenient playlist?
It would, yeah. But there is always YouTube.
There is always YouTube, yeah, but there's something special about being able to plug it into your car and like hear it coming out of the speakers while you're driving down the freeway.
Yep.
So would you?
Oh, just a reminder, we never finished about the gemstones.
We didn't.
No.
Oh, that's right. So what you can do with the gemstones after you craft them is you can put them onto empty slots on each of the sets of armor that your character has. So
And
say
weapons.
and weapons. So say your character has a gigantic sword, then it'll say you can put 3 ether weapons on that. So each of the gems has like a passive benefit, like oh, more health, more defense, 20% chance of inflicting more damage on the enemy.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of percentages. It's not a whole lot of definites, but it's cool to give your characters more power, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and especially there's some areas where it's like, oh man, these enemies are just killing me right now. I could really use more defense. They can really help.
What about the gear system? Do you want to tell them a little bit about how that? I mean, I guess there's not too much to talk about. You can put different you can put different outfits on your characters. And in the original version of Xenoblade Chronicles, that would alter your character's appearance. But now you can have your appearance be separate from your armor. So do you think that would have been cool if you were allowed to do that in your file?
Yeah, because there's some areas where, um, see, there's two different kinds of defense. There's physical defense and there's ether defense. Ether defense is basically, think of it like in other games, it's like sort of like magic. So like, if there's more magical ether attacks, then it's the opposite of physical defense, which means that usually you have to wear like things like smooth oil and stuff like that, which basically makes you like more naked.
Yeah, I mean, the outfits in this game are a bit more risque than what you're probably used to in an RPG, and that's saying something because Japan is known for being risque. That's why it's one of the only games that I've ever seen that says partial nudity in the ESRB warnings list. So you really want to be careful with how you dress your characters. But at least it's not dependent on your armor like it was in the original game.
Yeah.
So the final thing I want to touch on, because this game is so big, um, would you say that the game has a good cast of characters that you play as? Like, do you like the camaraderie of Shulk and his companions?
Oh, definitely.
Do you think that they bounce off of each other well and add to the story, or do you feel like some of them are kind of pointless?
No, I think they all really meld together really well. Like it's interesting to see all the different relationships between them, and if you can try playing as one of them in first person, and there's certain characters that different people might like to play as.
And depending on your affinity, if you have certain combinations of characters that might be more effective in battle because they like each other more than, say, these other people like each
Yeah,
other.
of course, my favorite character to control was Melia probably.
Yeah, that was my least favorite character to
I just
control.
I just like her whole ether attack like chain chain stuff. It's like she has like there's the different powers like there's like the element of that gives you more defense and there's another element that gives you um more more like magical attack and different things. You can have three orbs out at once and then you as long as you're holding them you gain those abilities, but you can release them to like give attacks
Well, I
or
guess it kind of, I
or
guess
give
it's a little
healing and
bit
stuff.
like a spellcaster type character.
Yeah, so I just kind of liked that that whole system, and I don't know, I found it pretty fun to fight as her.
Now, just to make sure we're not making the same mistake as IGN did in their review, we just want to clarify that when when I say that I don't like playing as Melia, I'm saying that as a battle character. But as a character in the storyline, wouldn't you say that she's one of the better characters as far as how she's written and her character arc and all that?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And believe it or not, she's actually the main character in the new epilogue. So if you couldn't get enough of her in the main quest, you get more of it in Future Connected. So I bet that'll be something you and I will have to check out
Yeah.
in the future. So the last thing I want to touch on before we go is for fans that really like open world games, especially Breath of the Wild, The Witcher 3. Would you say that this would satisfy that craving, or would you say it's more of a gigantic open areas type of experience?
Um, I guess it is more of the latter, but it still is like a big like area to explore. I mean, there's like, I mean, it takes a long time just to get play through the game.
Yeah,
So
because the characters don't run very fast. That definitely.
it's just like the probably one of the biggest appeals to me was just how many different places there are and how many like new songs there are to discover in the game too. Like,
Yeah, because like every area has its own theme,
and
and
it's like the places are very breathtaking visually, but also the music adds even deeper dimension to that.
so in other words, the soundtrack is one of the biggest incentives to keep playing the game.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I think I would agree. One of the big things I had a problem with was there were a lot of side quests that involved climbing up a mountain. And unlike in Breath of the Wild, you have to go all the way around and try to find a path up the mountain. That was a bit tedious. But apart from that, I really liked exploring the areas.
And also another thing to keep in mind is that with the original game, at least I don't know how it is the new version, but they weren't super clear on how to fast travel. And so I didn't even know about fast travel. I believed that the only way to do gemstone fusion in Colony 9 was to walk all the way back through the entire game, and that was took so long to do.
I mean, the fact that there's so much to learn, I'm surprised you and I figured out anything. Like in this review, we've hardly scratched the surface of all the mechanics you have to learn. So it's definitely kind of a hard game to wrap your head around at first. But once you do get used to the mechanics, it kind of all just clicks and then it becomes like muscle memory. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Like you kind of just feel like you're on autopilot in the battle.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've discussed pretty much all that we can think of in this game, I mean, do you think there's anything we missed? Because I already did a part 1 of this where I talked about Future Connected alone.
I mean, the only thing left would be the story, but we're not going to share that much about
Yeah, we
that.
don't want to share too many spoilers. Basically, the opening cutscene of the game, like within the first 2 seconds, it's established that these two titans got into war with each other for some reason or another. And they like both hit each other fatally at the same time, which therefore caused them to like freeze in place. And then over time, life forms developed on the Titans, but like the beings that lived on one Titan and the beings that lived on another are like at war with each other for reasons. And that's the main gist of it is it's a story of prejudice. But it evolves from that, obviously. Like if that were all the story was, it would be pretty stupid. But there's a lot of twists and turns and depressing moments to keep things interesting. And would you say that the story was engaging enough where like it kept you hooked from start to finish, or do you think there's parts of it where the audience might be like, I don't need to know the rest of it?
No, I think it's pretty gripping to the very end. Like especially the twists and turns at the end. It's like whoa, I totally did not see that. Like that's
Yeah, like some of the stuff you spoiled for me, I was like, dude, that's amazing. So he didn't spoil absolutely everything, so there's a few things that I'm kind of fuzzy about, but I'm definitely looking forward to see how it plays out because hearing his voice and actually seeing it are two different things.
I mean like the distance you got through the game, and I remember when I got to that point in the game, since you had played that far, I was like, this has got to be like um very close to the end right now, but it wasn't. It's one of those games that you think the game's about to end when it's actually not. It just keeps on going.
It's just a real shame that the Smash Brothers series tends to spoil a lot of great moments in Xenoblade Chronicles. So here's hoping you don't do a lot of spirit battles in Smash Brothers, or a lot of the best twists are gonna be ruined. What? That's a
Well, I don't
problem.
know. I don't know what you're referring to.
Good, because I don't want the audience to know either. So I have a scoring system where I rate games 0 out of 20. It's a joke. It's not supposed to be taken seriously just because 2020 is what we Americans call perfect vision. And this is the year of 2020. So it's the year of perfect vision, even though this year has been far from perfect. So out of a 0 to 20, how would you rate this game?
Well, I guess I'd have to say 15 or greater, like on a scale of 20.
You really like it that
I
much,
really
huh?
like it. It's very good.
You know what? I'm actually gonna have to agree with him. I would probably rate it a little bit higher because I did play through Future Connected. He didn't. And this is also my third time playing it through, so I've seen how the series has evolved and changed. And the definitive edition adds so much quality of life improvements that it's gonna make it like purgatory on earth if I try to slog through the original game again. So I would probably
Yep.
be closer to like a 16 or 17 out of 20. I would say as far as the definitive edition goes, like how good is it as a remake? I'd say probably like a 19 out of 20 because it does such a good
Hmm.
job of elevating the experience. And we didn't even talk about the graphics, but this
Yep.
review would go on forever if we tried.
And I guess one of the things I would mark it down for not this is like any bearing on how good of a game it is, but the mess like I don't know if I like agree with the message of the story from a Catholic point of view, which you haven't done your Catholic review yet. Right. So,
Well, I think from my perspective, and mind you, I've only gotten like 30% through the definitive edition, but I would say the initial message within the opening 2 hours of like you're capable of changing destiny, nothing is predetermined, that can definitely be.
well, I'm referring actually to pretty much the end of it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we'll stay away from endgame
Yeah.
stuff, but as the game progresses in its opening couple of hours, I would say that the whole like nothing is set in stone, we have free will is a really good message,
Yeah.
especially how Shulk's visions are incorporated into the story and that like the whole like twisting fate kind of thing. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
So with that, this review's gone on long enough. I hope you appreciated our fanboyism, and I hope you're really thankful that this guy didn't mispronounce the names and call them Rain and Duncan. I'll have to show you that review sometime and see like how could they make such.
Well, it's easy to pronounce them correctly because they have voice acting. So
British voice
I'm
acting.
very bad at having the correct pronunciation for characters if it's just written, but if they give the voice acting, then there's really no
I
excuse.
mean, in the second area, Shulk pretty much says Rhine, 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 like over and over again because he keeps shouting for him.
Yeah.
And Dunban, I almost did it myself. Dunban, he like appears in the opening of the game. So how do you mess that up? So with that, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this format. And if you want us to do any more other duel reviews, just let me know. Also, check out his channel. I'll leave a link in the description. He mostly does videos about Dante's Inferno and I guess the other two Dante books as well. And hopefully you'll do other stuff too.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to working on my channel for a while, but hopefully someday.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, maybe now that you have a girlfriend, maybe that can really give you an incentive because you can be like engineers for God.
But
we'll talk about that another time. Anyway, peace out, audience, and remember to keep the faith, stay epic, God bless, and make a joke like Xenoblade Chronicles ish.
I'm not good at making jokes on the spot.
Well, you know, something like you're capable of changing your own fate.
The future does not belong to you.
Okay, good enough. Bye bye.